The glass was already in his hand. Everyone in the room was smiling, laughing, celebrating. No one saw the danger. No one except one small girl. She was standing far away, quiet, watching everything. Her eyes were not normal. They were scared. Very scared. She took a small step forward, then another. Her heart was beating fast. She looked at the billionaire, the most powerful man in the room. And then she whispered very softly, "Don't drink that." He didn't even know her. He almost ignored her. But something in her voice made him stop. For 1 second, everything went silent. Then, 10 seconds later, the glass fell from his hand. And what happened next shocked everyone in that room. This was not an accident. This was not luck. This girl knew something no one else knew. And the truth behind her words was far more dangerous than anyone could imagine. If you think you know what's coming, trust me, you don't. Stay with me till the end, because this story will change everything you believe. And before we move forward, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments where you are watching from. I really love seeing how far these stories reach across the world. The room was quiet, but not peaceful. It was the kind of quiet that made people uncomfortable, like something was wrong, but no one could explain what. Soft music played in the background. Expensive glasses touched gently. People laughed, but their laughter felt forced, like they were trying too hard. William Hayes stood near the long dining table, holding a crystal glass in his hand. Inside it, a dark drink reflected the warm lights above him. He was calm on the outside. Always calm. A billionaire learns that early, never show too much. But tonight, something felt different. Not dangerous. Just strange. He slowly lifted the glass toward his lips. That's when he heard it. "Don't drink that." The voice was so soft, it almost disappeared in the music. William froze. For a second, he thought he imagined it. Then again, closer this time. "Please don't drink it." He turned. Right beside him stood a little girl. She couldn't be more than 7 or 8. Her clothes were simple. Not dirty, just old. Like they had been worn many times. Her small hand lightly touched the edge of his coat. Her eyes, they were not normal for a child. They were serious. Too serious. Like she had seen something she shouldn't have seen. William lowered the glass slowly. He looked down at her. "Why?" he asked quietly. The girl shook her head quickly. "No time," she whispered. "Just don't drink it." William studied her face. Children lie sometimes. But fear, real fear, is very hard to fake. And this girl, she was afraid. Not for herself. For him. Around them, the party continued like nothing was happening. Men in suits talked about business. Waiters walked around with trays of drinks. No one noticed the small girl standing next to one of the richest men in the room. William's fingers tightened slightly around the glass. "Who are you?" he asked. The girl didn't answer. Instead, she looked past him, toward the table. Her eyes moved quickly, searching. Then she leaned closer. "I saw them," she whispered. William felt a small chill. "Saw who?" She swallowed. "The men near the kitchen door. They were talking about you." William didn't react immediately. People talked about him all the time. That wasn't new. "What did they say?" he asked calmly. The girl hesitated. Her fingers tightened on his coat. "They said you always take a drink before you sit down." William's eyes moved slowly toward the table. It was true. He always did that. A small habit. Something no one would notice, unless they were watching carefully. He looked back at her. And her voice dropped even lower. "They said tonight it will be easy." William's heartbeat changed. Not faster. Just heavier. "What do you mean easy?" he asked. The girl looked around quickly, making sure no one was watching. Then she whispered, "They put something in the glass." For a moment, everything stopped. Not the music. Not the people. Just his thoughts. He looked at the drink in his hand. It looked normal. Smelled normal. Nothing strange. But suddenly, it didn't feel safe anymore. "You're sure?" he asked. The girl nodded immediately. "I heard them," she said. "They were laughing." William's jaw tightened slightly. "Where?" She pointed toward a side hallway near the kitchen. "Behind the door. I was sitting there. They didn't see me." William followed her finger with his eyes. 2 men stood near that area, talking quietly. One of them he recognized. Not closely, but enough. A business partner. Someone he trusted, at least a little. William slowly brought the glass closer to his face again. Not to drink. To smell it carefully. Still nothing. No sign. No warning. If she was wrong, he would look foolish. If she was right, he might not wake up. The girl stepped closer again. "Please," she said softly. "Just put it down." There was something in her voice. Something honest. Something real. William had built his entire life on reading people. Trusting small signals. Tiny details others missed. And right now, everything inside him said one thing. "Listen." Without saying a word, he lowered the glass. Then, he placed it gently back on the table. The girl let out a small breath. Like she had been holding it for a long time. But William didn't move away. His eyes were still on the drink. "Stay here," he said quietly. The girl shook her head quickly. "No, don't leave me." William looked down at her again. She wasn't just scared. She was alone. "All right," he said softly. "Stay with me." At that exact moment, a man approached them with a smile. "Mr. Hayes," he said warmly. "I see you got your drink." William looked at him. Same man. Same one standing near the kitchen earlier. His smile was perfect. Too perfect. "Yes," William said calmly. "But I'm not thirsty anymore." For a second, just a very small second, the man's smile changed. Almost invisible. But William saw it. And that was enough. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The girl slowly moved behind William's arm, half hiding. The man noticed her now. His eyes dropped to her, then back to William. "Your daughter?" he asked casually. "No," William replied. Just one word. But something in his tone made the air colder. The man nodded slowly, then glanced at the untouched glass. "You should drink it before it gets cold," he said. William held his gaze. "I said, I'm not thirsty." This time, the smile didn't come back. And in that moment, William Hayes understood one thing very clearly. The little girl was not lying. William did not look away from a man. The music was still playing. People were still smiling. Everything looked normal. But inside, something had changed. The man in front of him, Daniel Reeves, adjusted his tie and gave a light laugh. "You seem tense, William," he said. "Big deal tomorrow." William kept his face calm. "Yes," he said. "Very big." Daniel nodded, like everything was fine. But his eyes, they were not relaxed anymore. They moved quickly, from William's face to the glass on the table, then to the little girl standing beside him. That small movement was enough. William noticed everything. The girl held his coat tighter. Her fingers were shaking a little now. William spoke again, slow and steady. "Excuse me for a moment," he said. Without waiting for an answer, he picked up the glass again, but this time not like before. He didn't raise it to drink. He simply held it. Then he turned and started walking away from the table. "Where are you going?" Daniel asked quickly. William stopped, just for a second. Then he said, "To get some fresh air." He didn't look back. The girl walked fast beside him, almost running to keep up. They moved through the crowd, past laughing guests, past waiters, past people who had no idea what was happening. As soon as they reached a quiet hallway, William stopped. The music became soft behind them. The noise faded. Now it was just the two of them, and the glass in his hand. William looked down at the girl. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated, then said softly, "Maya." William nodded. "Okay, Maya," he said. "I need you to tell me everything." Maya looked back toward the main hall, nervous. "They were talking near the kitchen," she said. "I was sitting there drawing." William listened carefully. "They didn't see me," she continued. "One man said, 'Make sure he drinks it.' The other one said, 'Don't worry, he always does.'" William's grip on the glass tightened slightly. "What else?" he asked. Maya swallowed. "They said that after 10 seconds, he won't even know what happened." For a moment, William said nothing. 10 seconds. That was not random. That was planned. That was precise. "What did they put in it?" he asked. Maya shook her head. "I don't know, but they had a small bottle. One of them poured it into a glass, just like that one." She pointed to the glass in William's hand. A cold silence filled the hallway. William slowly looked at the drink again. Same color, same smell. But now it felt like something dangerous. Something hidden. He took a slow breath. Then he did something unexpected. He smiled. Not because he was happy, but because now he understood the game. "All right," he said quietly. "We are going to test it." Maya looked confused. "Test it?" she asked. William nodded. "Yes. We don't guess. We confirm." He walked toward a small service room nearby. Inside, there was a table, some equipment, and a sink. He placed the glass down carefully. "Stay here," he told Maya. She nodded but didn't move far. William pulled out his phone. He dialed a number. The call connected quickly. "Andrew," William said. "I need you at the east hallway." Now. No questions. He ended the call. Maya looked up at him. Who is Andrew? She asked. My security, William replied. Can we trust him? She asked immediately. That question surprised him. He looked at her, really looked at her. Most adults wouldn't ask that. But she did. And she was right. Trust was not simple anymore. William answered honestly. Yes, he said. I trust him. Maya nodded slowly. A minute later, footsteps approached. A tall man in a black suit entered the room. Andrew. His eyes moved quickly around the room, then stopped on William. Sir, what's wrong? He asked. William pointed to the glass. I need this tested, he said. Andrew frowned. Tested for what? William looked at him directly. Poison. The word hit the air hard. Andrew didn't react loudly. He didn't panic. He simply became more alert. Who gave it to you? He asked. Doesn't matter right now, William said. Just test it. Andrew nodded. He pulled a small kit from his pocket, something most people wouldn't even notice. He opened it carefully. Maya watched closely, her eyes wide. Andrew dipped a small strip into the drink. Then they waited. 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds. The strip slowly changed color. Andrew's face became serious. Sir, he said quietly. William didn't need the full sentence. He already knew, but he asked anyway. What is it? Andrew looked at him. Strong sedative, he said. Fast-acting. Very dangerous in high dose. Maya stepped closer. I told you, she whispered. William looked at her. Yes, he said softly. You did. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Andrew asked, should I call the police? William thought for a second, then shook his head. Not yet. Andrew looked surprised. Sir, someone tried to drug you. I know, William said calmly. And I want to know who and why before they disappear. Andrew understood immediately. All right, he said. What's the plan? William's eyes moved toward the hallway, back toward the party. They think I don't know, he said. That's our advantage. Maya looked worried. You're going back? She asked. William nodded. Yes. Her face filled with fear. They might try again, she said. William gave a small, calm smile. Not this time. He picked up the glass again, but carefully. Stay with Andrew, he told her. No, Maya said quickly. I want to stay with you. William paused. Then he nodded slowly. Stay close, he said. They walked back toward the main hall. The music grew louder again. The lights, the people, the laughter. Everything looked exactly the same. But now, William could see through it. Every smile looked suspicious. Every movement looked planned. As they entered, Daniel was still near the table. Waiting. Watching. His eyes immediately found the glass in William's hand. That small detail, again, gave him away. William walked straight toward him. Calm. Controlled. Like nothing had changed. Daniel smiled again. There you are, he said. I was starting to worry. William stopped in front of him. Really, he asked. Daniel laughed lightly. Of course. Big night tomorrow. We need you in perfect shape. William looked at the glass. Then back at Daniel. Yes, he said slowly. Perfect shape. For a moment, they just stood there, looking at each other, like two players in a silent game. Then William did something unexpected. He raised the glass again, right in front of Daniel. Maya's heart jumped. Her fingers grabbed William's sleeve tightly. Don't, she whispered. But William didn't look at her. His eyes were locked on Daniel. And Daniel. He stopped breathing for a second. Just a small pause. But enough. William saw it. That fear. That expectation. That moment. Was the truth. And that's when William made his move. He smiled. Then suddenly, he let the glass slip from his hand. It fell, hit the floor, and shattered into pieces. The drink spread across the ground. People nearby turned. What happened? Someone asked. Daniel stepped back quickly. His face changed. This time, he couldn't hide it. William looked down at the broken glass, then back up at Daniel. And in a calm, quiet voice, he said, Looks like I saved myself 10 seconds. The room slowly went silent around them. And for the first time that night, Daniel Reeves had no answer. William did not drink anything for the next few hours. Not even water. Not because he was scared, but because now he understood something very important. Someone had already tried to poison him once. And if they tried once, they could try again. He stood near the large window in his office, looking down at the city. Cars moved like small toys. People looked tiny. Everything seemed normal. But his life was not normal anymore. Behind him, Annie was sitting on the soft chair, quietly drawing again. Her small legs were not even touching the floor. Lisa sat next to her, still a little uncomfortable in this big, expensive place. Howard was on the phone, speaking in a low voice, giving instructions. William finally turned around. "Howard," he said calmly, "I want full security inside this building. No one enters without my permission." Howard nodded. "Already done." "And the staff?" William asked. "We are checking everyone," Howard replied. "Background checks, phones, emails, everything." William gave a slow nod. Trust was broken. And once trust breaks, everything changes. Annie suddenly looked up from her drawing. "Sir," she said softly. William walked closer. "Yes." "You still didn't drink anything," she said. William looked at her, then gave a small smile. "You're right." He walked to the table, picked up a sealed bottle of water, and slowly opened it himself. He checked the cap. Then he took a small sip. Annie watched him carefully. "You opened it yourself," she said. "Yes," William replied. "From now on, I trust only what I see." Lisa looked at him with a mix of respect and sadness. A man with so much power, now learning basic safety like a child. Life had changed him in just one day. Just then, the office door opened. A young assistant stepped inside, looking nervous. "Sir, there is someone here to see you." William frowned slightly. "Who?" The assistant hesitated. "She says she knows about the drink." The room went silent. Annie stopped drawing. Lisa held her breath. Howard slowly ended his call. "Send her in," William said calmly. A few seconds later, a woman walked inside. She looked around 30 years old. Neat clothes, confident walk, but her eyes looked worried. William studied her carefully. "Who are you?" he asked. "My name is Clara," she said. "I work in your company." William's eyes narrowed slightly. "Which department?" "Hospitality services," she replied. "We manage food and drinks for meetings, events, private travel." William did not say anything. He just looked at her. "Speak," he said finally. Clara took a deep breath. "I didn't know at first," she said quickly. "I swear, I didn't know." "Didn't know what?" Howard asked sharply. Clara looked at William again. "The drink," she said quietly. "The one today, the one they planned to give you." Lisa's hand tightened around Annie's shoulder. Annie looked confused, but she could feel the tension. William stepped closer. "Say everything," he said. Clara nodded. "This morning, Mark called me," she said. "He told me to prepare a special coffee for your train journey." William's face remained calm, but his eyes became colder. "What kind of coffee?" he asked. Clara swallowed. "He gave me a small bottle," she said. "Clear liquid. No smell. He said it's a supplement to help you relax during travel." Howard let out a small, angry breath. "And you believe him?" he asked. Clara shook her head quickly. "No, not fully," she said. "Something felt wrong. Mark never handled drinks himself. He always gave normal instructions." "Then why did you do it?" William asked. Clara looked down. "Because he is your assistant," she said. "And I was afraid to question him." Silence filled the room. This was how power worked. People followed orders, even when they felt something was wrong. William nodded slowly. "And then," he asked. "I prepared the coffee," Clara continued. "But I didn't mix the liquid yet. I wanted to check first." "And?" Howard asked. Clara looked at William again. "I went back to the service area, and I saw Mark talking to David." Annie's fingers tightened on her drawing pad. "They were whispering," Clara said. "But I heard one line clearly." She paused. "They said, once he drinks it, he won't wake up for hours." Lisa gasped softly. William did not move. "Continue," he said quietly. "I got scared," Clara said. "Very scared. I didn't know what to do. If I told someone and I was wrong, I could lose my job. And if you were right?" William asked. Clara looked at him with tears in her eyes. "Then you could lose your life." Silence again. Annie slowly looked at William. Now she understood a little more. Clara continued. "I decided not to mix the liquid," she said. "I threw it away." Howard looked surprised. "You destroyed it?" "Yes," Clara said. "I poured it in the sink." William finally reacted. "You're sure?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "I replaced it with normal coffee." William's eyes stayed on her face. "Then how would they poison me?" he asked. Clara shook her head. "I think Mark had another way," she said. "Maybe he planned to bring it himself, like he told David." William remembered the recording. "He said that," William whispered. Clara nodded. I came here as soon as I heard they were arrested, she said. I didn't want you to think I was part of it. Howard stepped forward. You were part of it, he said firmly. Even if you didn't know everything. Clara lowered her head. I know, she said. That's why I came. William looked at her for a long moment. Then he asked one simple question. Why didn't you come earlier? Clara looked up. Because I was scared, she said honestly. Annie suddenly spoke. I was scared too, she said softly. Everyone looked at her. But I still told him, Annie added. Clara's eyes filled with tears. Yes, she whispered. You were braver than me. William looked at Annie, then at Clara. There was a big difference between them. One was a child. One was an adult. But the child had more courage. William took a deep breath. Howard, he said, call the police. She needs to give a full statement. Clara nodded quickly. I will tell everything, she said. Everything I know. Howard stepped aside and made the call. William turned to Annie. You see, he said gently, truth always comes out sooner or later. Annie nodded. Even if people are scared, she asked. Yes, William said. But it is better when it comes out early. Lisa looked at her daughter with pride. Very quiet pride. After some time, the police arrived again. They spoke to Clara, took her statement, and wrote everything down. The case was getting bigger. Much bigger. Not just kidnapping now. Poison. Fraud. Inside betrayal. When the police left, the office felt heavy again. William sat down slowly. He looked tired now. Not physically, but inside. Sir, Lisa said gently, you should rest. William shook his head. I can't, he said. Not yet. Annie walked closer to him. She held up her drawing. Look, she said. William took it. It showed a man standing at a table with a glass in front of him. Behind him, a small girl, pulling his hand away. William stared at the drawing. That's today, Annie said. William gave a soft smile. Yes, he said. That's today. He looked at the glass in the drawing. Then he said quietly, 10 seconds, that's all it takes to change a life. Annie tilted her head. What do you mean? William looked at her. If I drank that glass, even 10 seconds earlier, I wouldn't be here. Annie went quiet. Lisa held her a little closer. William placed the drawing carefully on his table. From now on, he said slowly, I will listen more, even to small voices. Annie smiled a little, because she understood that. She was a small voice. And today, someone listened. Outside, the sun was starting to go down. The city lights slowly turned on. And inside that big office, a man who almost lost everything was learning how to trust again. But this time, he would be very careful. Because now he knew. Danger does not always come from strangers. Sometimes, it comes from the people closest to you. And sometimes, the only warning you get is a quiet whisper. Don't drink that. Night came slowly over the city. The lights outside William's office were now bright. Cars moved in long lines. The world looked calm. But inside the office, nothing felt calm. William was sitting quietly, his hands resting on the table. Annie and Lisa were still there. Howard stood near the window, reading messages on his phone. No one was speaking. Then William finally broke the silence. They didn't act alone. His voice was low but clear. Howard looked up. You think there are more people? William nodded slowly. Yes, he said. This plan, it was too clean. Too organized. My brother is angry, but he is not careful like this. Lisa looked confused. You mean someone else helped them? Yes, William replied. Someone smart. Someone who understands the company and my habits. Annie listened quietly. She did not understand business, but she understood one thing. The danger was not over. Howard stepped closer. I will start a deeper investigation, he said. Financial records, emails, internal access. William raised his hand slightly. No noise, he said. Howard frowned. What do you mean? William looked at him. If there is another person, I don't want them to run. The room went still again. You want them to think everything is normal? Howard asked. Yes, William said. We stay calm, we act normal, and we wait. Lisa felt a chill. That sounds dangerous, she said. William gave a small nod. It is, he replied. But if we move too fast, we lose them. Annie slowly stood up from her chair. She walked closer to William. Sir, she said softly, what if they try again? William looked at her. He did not answer immediately, because the truth was, they might. He finally said, then this time we will be ready. Just then, Howard's phone rang again. He answered quickly, listened, then his face changed. What? He said. William stood up. What is it? Howard lowered the phone slowly. Your board members, he said. They just called an emergency meeting. William's eyes became sharp. Tonight, he asked. Yes, Howard replied. In 1 hour. Lisa looked surprised. So fast. William let out a slow breath. They already know, he said. Know what? Annie asked. That something went wrong, William replied. Howard added, or someone told them. The room became heavy again. William walked toward the window. This is it, he said quietly. This is the next move. Annie tilted her head. What move? William turned to her. A game, he said. A very dangerous game. Lisa didn't like the sound of that. What will you do? She asked. William looked at Howard. We go to that meeting, he said. Howard nodded. Of course. Lisa quickly spoke. What about us? William looked at her, and Annie. You stay here, he said. This place is safe. Lisa hesitated. Are you sure? William nodded. Yes. No one can enter without my permission. Annie looked at him. Will you be okay? She asked. William gave a small smile. I will, he said, because now I know what to look for. Annie slowly nodded. She trusted him. A few minutes later, William and Howard left the office. The elevator doors closed. And just like that, the room felt empty. Lisa sat down slowly. Annie walked to the big window again. She looked down at the city. Everything still looked normal, but inside her heart, something felt wrong. Mama, she said quietly. Yes. Lisa replied. I don't like this, Annie said. Lisa stood up and walked to her. I don't like it either, she said honestly. Then why are we here? Annie asked. Lisa took a deep breath. Because sometimes life puts us in places we don't choose, she said. Annie thought about that. Then she looked at her drawing again. The man, the glass, the warning. She held it tighter. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a large meeting room was filled with people. Men and women in expensive suits. Serious faces. Low voices. The board of Carter Logistics. The door opened. William walked in. Howard right behind him. All eyes turned toward them. Some faces showed relief. Some showed shock. And some showed something else. Something hidden. William noticed everything. He always did. Good evening, he said calmly. No one answered immediately. Then one older man stood up. William, we heard something happened. William walked to his seat. Yes, he said simply. Something did. What exactly? Another woman asked. William looked around the room. Then he said one sentence. Someone tried to kidnap me today. Silence. Complete silence. A few people looked shocked. One man dropped his pen. Another whispered, This is impossible. William kept watching their faces. Carefully. Very carefully. Howard spoke next. We have evidence, he said. Video. Audio. Police are involved. A man on the left side leaned forward. Who did this? He asked. William answered slowly. My brother and my assistant. Gasps filled the room. No. That can't be. This is insane. But William did not react to the noise. He was watching. One face. Just one. A man sitting quietly at the far end of the table. He did not look shocked. He did not speak. He just watched. William noticed that. And he remembered it. The meeting continued. Questions. Discussions. Fear. Confusion. But one thing was clear. Power was shaking. After some time, the same quiet man finally spoke. William, he said calmly, are you sure this is not a misunderstanding? William looked straight at him. No, he said. I am sure. The man nodded slowly. But his eyes were cold. Very cold. William felt it. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The meeting ended after 1 hour. People left in small groups, whispering, looking worried. William walked out with Howard. Did you see him? William asked quietly. Howard frowned. Who? The man at the end, William said. Gray suit. No reaction. Howard thought for a second. Mr. Klein, he said. William stopped walking. Klein, he repeated. Yes, Howard said. Senior board member. Very powerful. William's eyes narrowed slightly. He wasn't surprised, William said. Howard nodded slowly. You think he is involved? William looked back toward the meeting room. I don't know yet, he said, but I will find out. At the same time, back in the office, Annie suddenly felt something. She turned her head toward the door. Lisa noticed. What happened? She asked. Annie whispered. Someone is outside. Lisa's heart skipped. What? She said. Annie slowly stepped back. I heard something, she said. Footsteps. Very soft. Very slow. Lisa quickly stood up. She looked toward the door. Nothing moved. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. Annie grabbed her mother's hand. Mama, she whispered. Lisa moved slowly toward the table, picked up her phone. Her hands were shaking. She tried to call William. No answer. The footsteps came again. Closer this time. Annie held her breath. Lisa whispered, stay behind me. The door handle moved. Very slowly. Someone was trying to open it. Lisa's heart was pounding now. Annie closed her eyes. And in that moment, they both understood one thing. The danger was not over. Not even close. The door handle moved again. Slow. Careful. Like someone did not want to make noise. Inside the office, Lisa held Annie tightly behind her. Her heart was beating so fast she could hear it in her ears. Annie did not speak. She just stared at the door. The handle stopped. For 1 second, everything became silent. Then, a soft click. The door opened. Just a little. A shadow appeared. Lisa quickly said, who is there? No answer. The door opened more. And a man stepped inside. Tall. Wearing a dark suit. Cold eyes. It was not security. It was not staff. Annie immediately hid behind her mother. The man closed the door quietly behind him. Lisa's voice shook. You are not allowed here. The man gave a small smile. I know, he said. His voice was calm, too calm. Lisa slowly stepped back, keeping Annie behind her. What do you want? She asked. The man looked around the office, then at Annie. I just want to talk, he said. Annie held Lisa's dress tightly. Lisa shook her head. No, you need to leave. The man did not move. Instead, he walked 1 step closer. You shouldn't be here, he said softly. This is not your world. Lisa felt anger now. Then why are you here? She said. The man's smile disappeared. Because of her, he said, pointing at Annie. Annie froze. Lisa stepped in front of her. You stay away from my daughter, she said firmly. The man stopped walking. For a moment, he just looked at them. Then he spoke again. That girl ruined everything. Lisa's stomach dropped. You, she whispered. You are with them. The man did not deny it. They made mistakes, he said. Big mistakes. And now? Lisa asked. Now, I fix it, he replied. Annie's small voice came from behind. You wanted to hurt him, she said. The man looked at her. Not angry. Not loud. Just cold. You should have stayed quiet, he said. Those same words again. Annie felt scared, but this time she did not look away. I told the truth, she said. The man tilted his head slightly. And now, you are a problem, he replied. Lisa grabbed her phone tightly. I'm calling security, she said. The man moved fast. Too fast. He stepped forward and took the phone from her hand. It fell to the floor. Annie gasped. Lisa pulled Annie closer. Please don't do this, she said. The man looked at her. This is not about you, he said. Then he looked at Annie again. This is about loose ends. Annie's eyes filled with fear. But she did not cry. She just whispered. You are wrong. The man paused. For a second. Just 1 second. Then, a loud voice came from outside. Mr. Carter's security. Open the door. The man turned his head. His calm face changed. Lisa quickly grabbed Annie and moved back. The door handle shook. Open the door now. The man looked around quickly. He was trapped. No easy exit. His eyes moved back to Annie. For a second, it looked like he might do something dangerous. Very dangerous. But then, the door burst open. Security rushed inside. 2 guards grabbed the man immediately. He struggled but was too late. Get off me, he shouted. But they held him tight. Lisa dropped to her knees, holding Annie close. It's okay, she whispered. Annie finally closed her eyes. The fear came out slowly. William ran into the room seconds later. Lisa. Annie. He saw them. Safe. He stopped, took a deep breath, then walked closer. Are you okay? He asked. Lisa nodded, still shaking. Yes. William looked at Annie. She looked up at him. He said I should stay quiet, she whispered. William's face became hard. He was wrong, he said. The guards pulled the man up. Howard came in behind William. Who is he? William asked. Howard looked serious. His name is Daniel Klein, he said. William's eyes widened slightly. Klein, he repeated. Howard nodded. Same man from the board meeting. Everything connected. Everything made sense. William looked at Klein. You planned this, he said. Klein gave a small, bitter smile. I planned everything, he replied. David was just angry. Mark was just useful, but I was the one thinking. William stepped closer. Why? He asked. Klein looked straight into his eyes. Because power should belong to people who know how to use it, he said. And you think that is you? William asked. Klein did not answer. He just smiled again. Cold. Empty. Howard spoke. He has been moving money too. Quietly. Same as David. William nodded slowly. So this was never just about family, he said. No, Howard replied. It was about control. The police arrived again. They took Klein away. This time no struggle. No fight. The game was over. Finally over. The room became quiet again. Lisa sat on the chair, holding Annie close. William stood near them. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Annie slowly looked up. Is it finished? She asked. William knelt down in front of her. Yes, he said softly. It's finished. Annie nodded. Then she said something very simple. I'm tired. Lisa smiled gently. I know, she said. William stood up. I will take you home, he said. No, Lisa replied softly. We can go ourselves. William shook his head. No, he said again. Tonight, you are not going alone. Lisa looked at him. Then she nodded. Okay. A few hours later, the car stopped in front of a small building. Lisa and Annie's home. Simple. Old. But warm. Annie stepped out slowly. She looked up at William. Thank you, she said. William shook his head. No, he replied. Thank you. Annie smiled a little. Then she gave him her drawing. The last one, she said. William took it. It showed the same man. The same glass. But this time, the glass was on the floor. Broken. And the man was still standing. William looked at it for a long moment. Then he said quietly, This is my life now. Annie didn't fully understand, but she smiled anyway. Lisa stepped forward. Sir, we will never forget this, she said. William looked at her. You don't have to, he said. But I will. They said goodbye. The door closed. And for the first time that day, everything was calm. Real calm. William sat back in the car. Howard looked at him. What now? He asked. William looked at the drawing in his hand. Now, he said slowly, we build something better. The car drove away. And high above the city, in a quiet office, a man who almost lost his life finally understood something simple. Sometimes, the biggest danger comes in silence. And sometimes, the smallest voice saves everything. That day changed everything. Not just for William, but for Annie too. A powerful man learned that money cannot protect you from betrayal, and a small girl proved that courage does not need age, power, or permission. Sometimes the truth comes in a very soft voice. And if you ignore it, you can lose everything. But if you listen, it can save your life. William never forgot that whisper. Don't drink that. And from that day, he made one promise to himself. He would always listen, even to the smallest voice in the room. Because sometimes, that voice is the only truth you have. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more powerful and emotional stories like this.